Hey there, and welcome back once again to Sheriff, where first things first, custom night. That's the main goal today. If we don't beat custom night, then we'll just go through extras, we'll go through the documents specifically, maybe get a better idea of what's going on story-wise, and then we'll cap it off there. Now I did find out, this is actually the same night I recorded the previous video, or the ending of the previous video, but I did actually find out that the final document that I need is in fact locked behind max difficulty. So, this should be fun. Okay. What's gonna be tricky here? Let's find out. How's temperature looking? Temperature is decreasing quickly. Wonderful. This is... oh my god. I'm stressed already. Alright, I already heard... oh no, I already heard of the thing. Oh no, how dare you. Plant. Where's the plant? Put on gas mask. I don't know if anyone's here, but not taking the risk. Wait, oh, whoa. Oh shoot. I didn't even realize the target practice was there. They kicked it up a lot. They kicked up the difficulty a lot compared to second day. Practice makes perfection. Oh, here's hoping. You know, if there's one thing I will say about this night, at least I don't have to see a tutorial every time. I didn't bring it up in my last video when I was giving my thoughts, but if I had any two pieces of main criticism, it's the fact that the tutorial shows up every single time and there's no way to like quickly skip it or anything like that. Or, like, you have to wait for it to pop up and everything, especially on the second day. You have to really wait for that. I've been taking too long trying to deal with that for some reason. Okay, give me this back. Is it gonna let me go on camera or what? Wait, up there you go, I see you. Oh, you're here. Uh-oh. Oh, this is new. Oh, Rave Dan. Or RoboCop Rave Dan. This one. Huh. Vivid. That's right, he's also called Headless Ray, which is interesting considering he has his head. Now, that's another thing that I kind of realize now. You don't have to get rid of his... getting rid of... he doesn't attack after getting rid of his claw, obviously, right? You pretty much just have to... now, in this difficulty, I have to keep an eye on him regularly. It's gonna be a tough one. I already had a lot of trouble with this game as it is. Advertisements are gonna be a pain in the ass. The plant's gonna be a pain in the ass. There's a lot here that's gonna be horrendous. I literally didn't even hear him. What was that? Oh boy. Oh, it was too late. Restart. When in doubt, just restart. Oh, it's over. It's over, I feel like. Yep, had a feeling. So much is going on. Another thing, I'm not even used to the fact that RoboCop over here literally just, they can gun for you so quickly. He kind of takes every strategy I had initially and tosses it out the window. Where the hell is this? Get rid of him. We can get rid of him. Go away, please. That stupid claw wasn't there earlier. Of course. So, given the pace so far, I think, Jesus, it might be like 3 full rotations, or like I think Buried Man would probably show up like 2 to 3 times, which is not great. As for everyone else, it's gonna be like maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the entire night. They're pretty much gonna be active after every hour. Or like by the time I deal with everyone at least once, they're gonna be, it's gonna be 1 AM. Of course, I forgot about the RoboCop again. I was literally just thinking about his claws, though. Can it not do that, please? And just let me do what I need to do? I can't even do anything anymore. I think it broke. Not good. Of course. Of course. Well, I'm pretty much dead to the plant, so that's done. Yeah. This isn't good. I'm already losing steam, and I barely started. I knew it was gonna be the claws. I knew it. I knew it was gonna be the claws. I had a feeling. I already had so much trouble trying to get through these guys on the normal nights, honestly. When I took a look at how fast they were moving real quick in the last video, I don't even know if I put footage in for that, but I had a feeling it wasn't gonna go well, and it's difficult trying to manage everyone. Yeah, ads, you gotta be careful of the ads that show up that you have to like remove. Plant probably takes the most time to get rid of. You also gotta be careful of this stupid claw. Oh, the toxin ran out. I wish you just gave me an option to quick restart instead of having to see. You know, actually, I don't even get that. Why can't I quick restart and skip all this? Why doesn't it just do that? Why does it have to create the loading screen again? It's probably something game development wise I just don't get, but it'd be so much simpler if I just quick restarted there. The temperature management now is also much more harsh. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but maybe it's because of the music. I don't know if they lowered the audio, or maybe let me try raise my audio. I don't know why the sound cues sound quieter. I don't know if that's because of the music in the background. I mean, then again, raising my volume isn't gonna do much if it raises the volume of the music too. Alright, I heard them this time. I can't get away from these stupid claws. Oh, I was doing so. The thing is, like, again, that's the thing. Because you have to be proactive, you have to force yourself to get off camera, which can be tricky sometimes. But Jesus, and I already saw someone beat this, so. But I mean, whether it's in the cards for me is another story, because I'm in particular, I'm just not that good at this game. Especially on the reaction side of things. I knew about the target, but I was kind of late with the other two. I think I have to call it. You are now a part of me. No thank you, target. Yeah, I'm not beating that. I'm not good enough at this game to even bother. Alright, so I might just take a look at the new document from someone else's video and I'll put the credits and everything. So, first we have our characters, you know, experiment and humans. So the experiments, I guess, are the everything in the dream world then, right? Is that what it is? Because you have, yeah, you have Reese, Ravedan, Then you have Living Tan, Cremation, definitely an experiment. Consume, definitely experiment. Buried Man, aka Michael Fuck. Target, Hunter, Headless Ray, Leonardo James or Lanrix, Felix the lawyer. See, there you go with the but really a book of law, an hourglass, and a mallet. I mean, taking a bit on the nose, huh? Next, jump scares. We've seen that one. We saw that really recently. Seen this one quite a bit. Seen that one quite a bit. Seen that one quite a bit. Seen that one quite a bit. All of them. I've seen all of them. So now we have documents. Now this is where I'm hoping a lot of the story starts piecing together more clearly. Now I don't know if I have to go in a particular order. I'm gonna guess we don't. So let's take a look here. Very first, current sheriff, Rave Dan Raven or Rave Dan. The current sheriff of the Wreckville police station and the creator of The Dream. Okay, so I think The Dream is the experiment then. It's obvious that his father, James Dan, gave him before his death and has been giving him ever since. See, again, this back to what I'm talking about with the English is like I'm not sure what they're trying to say there. I'm guessing again it's a translation issue. So now they talk about the experiment. He's the only one in the station who does not share his classification with the others. So he's an experiment, but he probably just doesn't say what his experiment like what kind of experiment, I guess maybe. Despite the fact that he continues to use the human body, and despite this, the police station has been doing well, and people are more convinced than ever that they are the exact sheriff they need, Rave Dan Raven. He appears more unique than you'd expect from a sheriff who wears a standard uniform and a hat, but he appears to be a normal person wearing a sheriff's uniform, red fur. I did notice that when we were playing as him in the final day, I guess, and glasses, which many people recognize as an honor for his cousin's fear. I don't even know who his cousin is. He was born in Washington, District of Columbia, and grew up in a small family that was impoverished. He was already sorrowful when his parents reached a divorce agreement and moved in with his father to Wreckville since he was a baby. So, according to an interview, James Dan was the one who took over the police station and was the first sheriff in town. And as a result, he expected a lot of responsibility from Rave Dan. Throughout that time, he met Leonardo James, or Lanrix, who later became the Dangerous Entity, and has been friends with him ever since. So they did used to be friends. He was also a former friend of Reese Cromwell. He was the one who attempted to save the child before the murder occurred and sent him to prison, demonstrating that people believed that being a police officer is the ideal job for Rave Dan. He was the one who came up with the idea for a playtime for any prisoner who was about to be sentenced to death after the invasion was over. So I'm guessing this is again The Dream. Last they said, dubbed The Dream, and by the time Rave Dan informed everyone at the station about it and demanded that all police promise not to tell anyone or face demotion. Okay, in other news, Rave Dan discovered that whenever something smelled toxic, he can become weak. He was struggling with something that can be used to defend prisoners who are sentenced to death. He was struggling with something that could be used to defend for prisoners who are, I'm not sure exactly, but he had no choice but to implement a toxin system that was his only weakness. So I'm not sure, maybe this has to do with the fact that, they use gases to like kill them, and it's like, okay, he had to implement the system even though it was his greatest weakness. So it was also noted that Lanrix also had the same weakness, it seems like. Rave Dan, along with his cousin, will undoubtedly reach out to any prisoner sentenced to death once the playtime begins, or The Dream. They decide to walk to your office like a normal person, and when he gets to the door, he decides to give a prisoner more time to pull down a lever to release toxins. The only way he can defend himself is to hold his breath before running away. That's interesting. It's like, it's like they made The Dream, but so it's like in a way they tell you how to deal with them, and they give you ways to defend yourself, which is interesting. He continues to pursue the same strategic approach for The Dream. It gives him determination and motivation. Not to mention the first picture was him sleeping in his office whenever a prisoner was eliminated. Sleeping like a baby, I guess. Okay, so then we have Living Tan, a member of Special Weapons and Tactics and a cousin of the current sheriff. So he's the one scared of the red and blue glasses. He's one of the few people who were forced to move from Washington. He has some family problems following the divorce agreement, is unsure as to why he was forced to move. He was often bullied throughout school for being poor, and for having eyes that resembled anime eyes. I'm guessing that's where the red and blue comes into play. He would often pretend to be sick so he could stay at home. Ravedan wanted Livington to work in this department alongside him in the station because Livington had no future goals other than staying at home. Livington does not have the same classification as everyone else who works at the station or department because he was not going to work there until Ravedan created the dream and ended up becoming the third member after became the third member along with Consume, who became his friend. Livington is not the person you would expect, and he's not well known for his work, but he's a cheerful person who values people and dreams. He hasn't spent much time in the station, and aside from pretty much being like a night guard of sorts, watching the prisoners, he was there very often in the dreams to hang out or work out in the backyard. So in a way, it's like the dreams in this case, like they all have access to the dreams, essentially. They're able to inflict it on any prisoner. So it's not like Reese got experimented on per se. Everyone in the police station are the experiments. Reese just ended up being victim to them. Livington was struggling with something that could be used to defend himself. Livington was struggling with something that could be used to defend himself from prisoners. I guess this is again the toxin system. He used to go to the bathroom frequently just to read the newspaper. They talk about how he goes to the vents and takes longer than Ravedan to pretty much kill him. So very similar mechanics they kind of bring up there. It's obvious he was uncomfortable using the gun to shoot a prisoner, which is why he uses, I guess, torque to slap and kill them. He's the only one who exceeds the expected speed of a rival, and apparently Buried Man was upset about this for some reason. So then we have Consume, a sentient AI program in charge of the dreams, or the home's, logistical system. They were found while the dream was built, along with a furnace that was unexpectedly constructed. Interesting, so while making the dream, they ended up... So Consume was just like a byproduct almost. So in this case, this type of AI, instead of stealing or drawing pictures from the internet, the AI would be in charge of the logic system for the home. Again, I don't know, logic system, I don't know what they're trying to talk about. I guess it's like the smart home system basically. Storage, temperature systems, camera systems, these were the only functions, and more would be added later on. They ended up being called Consume because of their appearance and the presence of the furnace. Ravedan thought it made more sense that way. A few days, it was discovered that Consume is somehow possessed by a mysterious woman, despite the fact that her introduction occurred just after Livington first visited the dream. The gender was confirmed to be female, which was unexpected, but they accepted and adjusted it throughout. Their scheduled interview turned out to be a bust when the interviewer attempted to tell her the whole story of her past. So, I guess, traumatic memories. Even Ravedan and the others tried to tell her about it, but it didn't work out well. Consume was the one who started the relationship with Cremation and ended up being a fiancé for him. According to the interview, after a complete bust, she says that Cremation is hot, sexy, and stronger. It is not my fault that I wrote this, so I apologize. So they're a duo in the dream and came up with the idea from Ravedan. So I guess, again, so this part here pretty much goes into more detail about their actual mechanics, basically. So they're even talking about like the virus and whatnot, and how they kind of work together to mess with the temperature systems. And then here they also talk about the ads that they can send to distract the prisoner. Consume only trusted Cremation to tell him the entire story about her past, and Cremation has never told anyone or anybody else, which is why it remains unredacted in his documents. And then there's also this link. I haven't really looked into it, but how am I looking into it now? Oh, Beavis and Butthead. Fire, 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 fire. That makes sense, actually. Okay, so next is Cremation. A mass of rock and living things covered in lava. They were discovered in a snow mountain near a volcano in the dream. So the dream isn't just in the prison, it's like this whole... Hell, I might even equate it to something like the back rooms, where it's like, it seems like this whole, like, just expanding world almost. So his body was found in I guess in a lava pit of sorts, and they were brought to the home, being the prison. I keep forgetting that the home is the prison in this case. It is not recommended to touch or hold him due to Rave's hand injury, so I'm guessing Rave got injured, and so that's how they came to that conclusion. And Cremation ended up becoming a member of the home, the prison, the dream. Cremation was once a human and captured by the military under an unknown name. Cremation does not remember what he was named at the time. They became a soldier during the World War to stop a dictator until the dictator committed suicide, and Cremation was finally brought home once again. They went on to become an actor and appeared in 3 films until 4 of 3 films, I think that means 3 out of 4. An unexpected explosion occurred in the studio, killing Cremation and injuring the crews and actors. So Cremation was not expected to return until it was discovered that James Dan had a son, Rave Dan, and visited the dream while still being created. And then, so this is weird. He visited the dream before meeting them and ended up trapped in this lava pit or whatever the hell. That's how he became Cremation. What in the world is the dream then? Because it's the dream is always like, the dream is like this mindscape almost, but so far, even random strangers like Cremation had access to it. In the events of the dream, and a week after their first encounter with Cremation, they both fell in love with each other and they ended up dating. Cremation stays at the Buried Man either to hang out with her fiance, consume, or relax the soul of lava. Not sure what they mean by stays at the Buried Man. He dislikes being around living things because he constantly stalks the buried room for pranks. Next we have Hunter, a carnivorous plant and the second slipper in the dream. Hunter was the last member discovered in a small garden store. When Rave Dan discovered her, a good friend named Dr. Gatling offered to give him Hunter for free in exchange for permissions, which always promised to be worth keeping because she's unlike any other type of plant, clearly. So he named her Hunter, which makes more sense given that a Venus flytrap is frequently referred to as a hunter. They were not alive before being brought to the dream. She magically became more aggressive and can also speak. It's difficult to hear her because she has a different language, and her host, Rave Dan, is the only one who knows what she said. And then they had the don't touch as they learned more and became friends with 2 other members, Target and Buried Man. It is no surprise Hunter enjoys eating Buried Man as a prank. Hunter's deal for the playtime, I guess the playtime is the events that take place with the prisoners, like when the prisoner is about to go on death row, it's time for playtime. That's when they get sent to the dream. So they were initially gonna have water shooters for the defense against Hunter, but that got denied apparently. So interesting detail here actually. Besides the fact that Hunter eats the prisoner whole, Hunter agreed to work with Target so that they could work together after a prisoner. The Target will alarm her when a prisoner is forced to defend themselves against them. Hunter will grab a prisoner's hands from using the gun to waste time. Oh, that's interesting actually. So basically it's like Target's like, okay, I'm about to show up, so when they try grabbing the gun, restrain them. That's interesting. So that kind of explains why that mechanic happens kind of so randomly. Okay, so next we have Target, a target for shooting projectiles with human flesh. Target was discovered near a beach flower with water shooters and was left to rot when Rave Dan found it. They then brought it home and ended up making friends with the others. Target is the second member discovered in the dream, the first being Cremation. To be noted, without permission first. The Cremation was there, without permission the first time. Target was unlike any other material or object. It was created in a different area with its queen, Super Target, which I think I saw mentioned in the tutorial segment for them. Another massive projectile machine that is similar to the Queen Shooter. It was created with this obvious shooting target head of firing projectiles. The shooting target head. It was somehow alive thanks to human flesh, I think? Target became bored and eventually took back. I don't know. I can't tell what they're saying, damn it. Target was then thrown out by the other guards and Super Target was left to rot. Eventually, Rave Dan discovered Target in a dumpster, and then pretty much got the deal to be in the dream. Target made a deal with Hunter. We pretty much read about this idea here. Target will alert Hunter to prevent anyone from using the gun. And every day before playtime, Target enjoyed playing a cross game with Buried Man. Like what, they play tic-tac-toe? I mean, speaking of which, the Buried Man, a ruthless, burn human zombie. Real name Michael, with an unfortunate last name that you should ignore out of respect for him. A bit late for that, I guess. He was discovered near a tower, rotting with his body inside a casket. Oh, so it's his casket, while conducting spinning research in the dream. Livington was then brought home, and his appearance was a cross. I think that's actually supposed to be Buried Man. His appearance was a cross between a zombie and skeleton, as a result of the dream's effects. He was once a human, living with his wife and working as a football coach at Wreckville High School. We kind of saw that, Isabella, and I think they had a son. It is also where he met the others before the dream, most notably Ravedan, who served as his student in real life, and he pretty much was like a typical football coach. He was about to be fired before the incident. Buried Man was researching something in the school to see if there's any evidence of how he was fired, because the principal never gave a reason. He got trapped in a fire and was buried there when Landrix burned down the school. Wait, Landrix burned down the school? Why? Okay. He was doing well, friends with the others. He dislikes Hunter, who kept eating him every day. So Buried Man is still hunted down and kept dead, and still worth noting he accepted an apology from Landrix, the same guy who burned down the school, by stating that Buried Man agrees that Wreckville High School is a terrible place. Finally, or not finally, we have... Oh no, that is finally! Oh wow, that was quick. D07. There's an unknown name, and we had a specific individual lash out, so we'll call it the mysterious robot. Is this Robocop Ravedan? This was discovered when a prisoner was killed by a mysterious robot who left a note, and there was nothing to solve during the day. The only clue is that the mysterious robot appears to be similar to Ravedan, except for its height and 3 claws. Livington later discovered another clue when he saw a massive claw attempting to open the large door in the generator room. So, if you encounter this, we apologize. There is no counter, not sure what this is. See, now this is interesting because remember when Reese brought up the Robocop Ravedan, Ravedan was surprised by this and was like, "Oh, you're crazy," you know, they kind of went along with it. But it's interesting that this robot that's kind of like infiltrated with everything is not really a part of the dream officially. And then we have the final document. Now, I actually did find a video of a person that did beat this mode, Doofy, who ended up completing 910 mode, and they showed the document. Credit to them, video will be in description. This is for Landrix. Landrix is a sentient experiment suit with a shadow figure, a shadow you say, who is Ravedan's closest friend. Real name Leonardo James, a dangerous entity who is to be killed on sight. Caution is advised due to high risk of death. He was the one who initiated the invasion. So this is another thing. They mentioned this invasion in another document, I think. Where was it? I think it was one of the earliest ones. Invasion. I'm not sure what this invasion is. Okay, so here it is. So here's where they first mentioned the invasion. After the invasion, Ravedan came up with the idea for the dream and having prisoners who were, death penalty. They have to go through playtime in the dream prison. Now, I don't know what this invasion is. They don't really talk. I don't recall them talking about it much, honestly. Okay, so also interesting enough, besides what they did with the school and they're the one who initiated the invasion, they're also the 8th and first member to appear on the 2nd day, after a prisoner survived on the first day's playtime. Oh, so they're the 8th overall member, but they're also the first member to appear on the 2nd day. So, Landrix grew up in Wreckville alongside his parents, and was then brought to court after being found guilty of burning down the school and sentenced to 9 years in prison, until he was freed when killing an interviewer that was speaking with him. He went missing following an incident where his abusive father burned down the house and killed his mother. What the hell? Leonardo then came into contact with an experiment, a strange black shadow with purple stamps on the chest. While the experiment turned out to be completely fine, the side effects were severe, and his body became weak as he struggled to control himself. The damage was done when Leonardo severed his entire body and put on the suit, transforming him into the entity we know today. He still cares about the right people, and the invasion was later solved when Landrix was found to be somehow innocent. Some people disagree with this, and eventually, as a result, you know, there's like some controversy as to whether he caused the invasion or not. So he became an anti-hero, apparently. So then he made a deal that he would only show up in the side rooms, generator room, or entrance hall, pretty much only on the second day, basically because of how much of a dangerous entity he is. Apparently, the system that is used to deter him is a drain ink system, which is interesting. And then at the very bottom, there's text that says he did it. Again, maybe this is actually referring to the invasion, whatever that is. So, with all that out of the way, from a document point of view, that's a lot. I mean, I've been talking for about a good 25 minutes there, but it gives us a good idea as to the origins of the characters. But again, now I'm kind of like left in the lurch about this invasion. I'm starting to think that our character is not connected really to anyone here. Maybe Reese is just another unfortunate soul that ended up being more vengeful, as we saw in the final day. Obviously, we don't know anything about this invasion. The dream is a very interesting concept. I don't know, maybe if Lanrix or I forgot the name of the shadow that was in the shadow that showed up at the very end. Maybe they're the ones that created the dream. Not entirely clear. So then we have behind the scenes for the game. Oh my god, I gotta like catch my breath. We have, you know, even the final day. Who in the world is this? Where the hell did this come from? Like, what the hell? Like, they came out of nowhere and just like, screw you. Oh, wait a minute. That's the kid that Reese killed, isn't it? That's the kid that Reese killed. He got their vengeance. Like, double vengeance, you know, stacked upon each other. No Shadow Knights 2022 development, the sequel. I think they were talking about Shadow Knights. Next we have cutscenes. I'm pretty sure I'm missing the 910 difficulty cutscene, obviously. And I think it's actually a cutscene. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is a cutscene between the developers, because I recognize the OCs. And of course, Custom Night, well, we know this is not happening whatsoever. Then we have fan art. I'm guessing this is the art that was shown throughout Custom Night. So we pretty much already got a look at most of them, if not all of them. And I think that pretty much concludes everything. Right? Once again, great job to everyone that's part of the game. I'm glad to have finally covered it. Quite a lot going on with this game. Now, back to, you know, everything regarding the story. Obviously, thanks to the documents, we got a better idea as to like the world building with this game, but there's still a lot that's left to be like. There's a lot that's kind of hard to understand, partially because of the English translation, and also because there's some details not mentioned, like the invasion, for example. Kind of ominous there. Maybe it's the invasion of that shadow character, honestly. But at least now we got a better idea of the origins for all the characters. Specifically, at least, like, now we know how they all ended up being part of the dream, and kind of get an idea as to how they all interact with each other, which was nice to see. But that's gonna conclude it, honestly. Custom Night did not go my way. This is really more of an extras video more than anything, but it was good to cover. Of course, with all that said, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, hit that notification bell to keep up to date on future videos. The game will be in the description below as always. And with that said, I'll see you in another video. Take care.